I'd like to start out just by giving you a sense of where we came from with the Ragon Institute. It really started, in a way, at McCord Hospital because they had an electronic medical record at McCord, and Helga Holst, the superintendent at the time, who is in the audience today, asked me if I would meet with the salesman from the EMR to talk with him, and I avoided that for some time, but ultimately did. He asked if I would meet with Terry Ragon, who I'd never heard of, to tell him that his EMR was saving patients' lives so that they would stay invested as a company in South Africa. That led to Terry coming to see what we were doing in South Africa. On the way over, Terry said, I want a fulcrum to be able to leverage my philanthropy. I don't think what you're doing is what I'd be interested in. But at the end of that 3 days there, he said, I don't see how anybody could see what I've just seen and not want to get involved. And that led to a number of discussions and to this idea that there was knowledge that we could bring to bear to address this epidemic that was not being tapped. And the reason for that is multifactorial. It has to do with the way science is structured. It has to do with the difficulties in being allowed to take risks as scientists, and at any rate, it led finally to Terry and Susan doing something really extraordinary, which was to give us a $100 million gift. The terms of that were that we would spend $10 million a year for 10 years to bring people from Harvard and MIT and other hospitals in Boston to work on this very big problem. We've had extraordinary support from from all of the constituents of this. It's a joint effort by MGH, MIT, and Harvard, involving the other hospitals. And the goal is really, the vision is to harness the immune system to prevent and cure disease. And what's important to recognize is that there's nothing about HIV in here. Where HIV comes in is that we have organized ourselves around trying to attack specific problems that have global impact. And our first goal was to work on making an HIV vaccine. And investigators at the Ragon Institute, led by Dan Baruch, are now have a vaccine that's in clinical efficacy trials in South Africa. Just to tell you what buy-in that we've gotten locally, the governance board of our institute is the presidents of MGH, MIT, and Harvard, who have been enormously supportive. Our founding principle was really that collaborative, goal-oriented research would really be a unifying rallying call for people from multiple different disciplines. And we have an institute board as well that helps us with day-to-day sorts of issues that come up, and that consists of the dean of the medical school and the provost and the senior VP for research at MGH, and Mark Schwartz, who's appointed by, has been a long-term supporter of ours and was appointed to this by Terry Ragon. So our initial goal was the development of an HIV vaccine, and we've expanded already to take on additional goals that you will hear about today. So without a lot of further ado, we'd like to get started and see how this experiment in having multiple presenters for a short 40-minute talk actually works. The notion is to give you a sense of what we do, but also hopefully to give you a sense of the collaborative nature of what we do, and these talks are a collaborative effort.